Last week, I attended a 2-day Zine workshop where I had the chance to create a zine in a period of time of like a week. But don't get me wrong, I didn't create a whole project in a week, but I mostly used it as an opportunity, as a motivation to assess my progress on a personal project that I'm already working on. I often talk about my personal work on this channel, but I haven't really shown you much. And there's a reason for that. Most of my work is very personal, and it also consists of archival material, photos and content. Sometimes I find it hard to share it in a platform like YouTube, to share it. However, I decided to overcome this likely self-imposed fear and obstacle and share a little bit more of my photographic work with you guys. So I hope you enjoy the process and the video. The first day we talked about storytelling and sequencing and the kind of photos that are needed to create a story, how images work together, and how you create a visual language to communicate with the viewer and tell your story. So basically, the story is simple. The first years of my life, I couldn't see clearly until I wore glasses at 2 years old. So I think the way that I was seeing the world is very similar to the way I see the world now when I don't wear glasses, which is kind of blur, kind of out of focus, not very clearly. I also want to explore my first memories and what blurriness means to me, and if this experience has affected my life and the way I see and perceive the world even now, and the way I communicate with the world. And I want to see if this has something to do with my first impression of the world that was a blurred one. When I started photography, I noticed that I really like blurred photos. I really like out of focus ones. And also, I don't know, this hazy feeling in general is something that I can really relate to. So I don't know if this has something to do with my first experience of the world. Yeah, so that's about it. That's about the idea and the main theme of the project. Yeah. Ναι, το σκέφτομαι σαν ένα κομμάτι που θα εισάγει και θα επικεντρώνει πιο πολύ στην αίσθηση ότι δεν έβλεπα την αίσθηση ότι θα κάνει σε πράγματα. Αυτό μπέρδευα. This was my initial idea reference. I wanted it to look like a small album with photos in different sizes that create a little bit of a chaos, to resemble the way of perceiving the world when you don't see clearly. Θέλω ένα τετράγωνο κάτω σου, όχι αυτό, δεν θέλω αυτό. Θέλω να είναι αυτό. Αυτό. Κάνει το ίδιο να το κόψω. Αυτό λίγο πιο μικρό. So the first thing I did after choosing the photos that I will probably use and put them all together in a new document in InDesign, I went on and printed them in a simple piece of paper in just black and white, just to check the sizes and how this idea could probably work, and how photos can interact with each other and how they can blend together. Thanks for the help, and the idea started becoming more clear and taking a shape. Spoiler alert, no. Let's see how this went and if it actually worked out. I printed the photos in color and I sequenced them the way I have already decided. Not the most professional way to make holes. already understood that it's not gonna work this way, but nonetheless, I'm gonna try it out and finish it to see what is missing, what I have to correct, and learn from this process how to make it work. I think I don't like these screws, so I'm gonna try out these nails to see if it looks any better. The more you try, the more you know what you like and what you don't like, and what works and what not. So after trying for the first time, I made some changes to make my life easier and the process. I calculated the margins. I made them a little bit wider so I will have more space to make precise holes. I also printed some photos in rice paper so they create this feeling of blurriness and blending a better way. I removed some photos that didn't serve the story and followed the same process as the first time. So this is what I was trying to do these last 2 days. It doesn't seem to work out. I didn't even put the cover in this thing, so you can imagine how disappointed I am. But yeah, that's how things are. When you try something new, when you format and you experiment with new things, there's no need to expect from yourself to do it perfect. You learn from this process. So yeah, that's what I'm keeping from this thing. Okay, if I had a little bit more time, I would fight it a little bit more with this format, because we have an exhibition with the zines, so I can go with this thing there. I mean, it's not presentable. It's not working. I didn't find a way to bind it and to bind all the pictures together so they won't move. All the pictures, even if they're bound, they're still moving, so it's a little more chaotic than I wanted. It's a little bit confusing and tiring if someone's trying to follow the story. You heard that, right? It's also 40 degrees, like 36 degrees, I don't know, in Greece right now. No air conditioning here. I have a fan, but I can't actually turn it on right now because it will be so loud. Yeah. It's so warm. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna jump into InDesign and make a quick square layout zine, trying to be as close as possible to my initial idea. I want these pictures to blend in together in a way. So yeah, I will keep the photos that were printed in rice paper, and my idea is not to bind them with the rest of the pages so they can be moved around by the viewer, and this will give like a more customizable experience. And I think it suits really well the idea and the theme of the zine. So yeah, let's jump into the InDesign really quick and then head to the print shop because it's already turning late. Yeah. I decided to hand bind the zine. I wanted it to be more DIY, and handmade, as it's a personal story. I believe it's more suitable that way, rather than, another binding technique. I guess it adds something there. I have my guide that I already made for the first one that I did. So basically, I just measured the center and then calculated where I want to make the holes with this tool. So yeah, let's start. Yeah, first I will make the holes in the middle spread, so I will have a more specific guide for the rest. I also use this book, so I will make the holes without fear to that I cut something, I don't know, that's underneath. Let's talk a little bit about single photos and projects. They're two completely different things. I'm not trying to compare these two things and to say that the one is better than the other. And of course, I don't underestimate the power of a single photo. They can definitely hold a story. But what I'm trying to say here is that making a project and trying to make a zine or a book out of it is a completely different story. So yeah, photos that don't stand alone or sometimes even seem unimportant can make sense when you sequence them to serve a story. And you know, they might actually find their place. In storytelling and the creation of a book, you appreciate images differently. Images that function like bridges, as breaths. You give space to images that you didn't expect would need it. And you create a story with what you have, with your materials. So, if you want to create a book with storytelling, you will certainly need various images that frame the idea and the theme. Here, I am mainly referring to personal projects and that are gonna become like, you know, a book or a zine eventually. And I'm not talking about collections of photographs which have a different goal. So let's have a quick tour of the zine to see the end result and how it looks like.